I would formally introduce the first paper, that is paper 8 overall in this activity, but first paper for today, that is role of coastal communities in conservation of coral reefs, impact on marine life. And to speak on the subject for the next 15 minutes or so, we are honored to have our distinguished guests, Dr. Anuar Abdullah from Malaysia, who's sitting on my left. I'll introduce you a little and then I'll formally request you to take the podium, sir. Dr. Anwar studied marine biology in the United States and has been a marine biologist with 42 years of experience in coral conservation, protection, and rehabilitation. Ocean Quest was founded in Malaysia in 2010 by Dr. Anuar Abdullah. Ocean Quest Global is an environmental organization at work in 7 countries, ladies and gentlemen, throughout Southeast Asia and the Indian Ocean. After years of research, Ocean Quest Global has created its own techniques, methodology, and material for coral reef rehabilitation. Over the past few months, the organization has been actively involved in rehabilitation of Maya Bay around island in Thailand. This project is being carried out in collaboration with the Marine National Parks Operations Center and the Department of National Park, Wildlife, and Plant Conservation. He has been UN Entrepreneur Award nominee in 2019 and 2020 subsequently, as well as ADEX Coral Reef Ambassador since 2013. He has also represented the organization at international level on multiple times. Sir, it's an honor to have you here amongst us, and I would now request you to kindly say a few words on the allocated subject. Please.
I'm pretty short for a start, so I can hardly see anyone. But anyway, my name is Anuar Abdullah, and I'm the founder of Ocean Quest Global, the only action-based organization around the world, meaning that we are thriving on direct action. The slides that you see is one of my presentations prepared for PIMEC 2023. It will be too long to fit in the 15 minutes that I have, but I will do the introduction, brief introduction. Please open the introduction, please. About myself, I'm a graduate of Florida Institute of Technology, and it was way back in 1979. And I worked in this field since 1981 until today. And what I did is I invented my own system, independent of any institution, independent of any laboratory, and it was a big struggle. From 1981 to 2004, it was a struggle of failure. Nothing was successful for 23 years. But I stayed on. From 2004 to 2006, I found a formulation that works for the coral reef in terms of building back coral reef naturally, not putting concrete, not putting steel, not putting any kind of artificial structure. To me, artificial structure putting in the ocean is nothing but waste that we are planning to hide from our sight. Throwing things in the ocean does not make the ocean any better, meaning that we have to plant corals. If the forest is destroyed, will we take this building and put it in the forest for the animals to live in? Absolutely not. We will plant trees. If the coral reef is destroyed, we will have to seek a way to cultivate coral and grow back coral as per what we did in the forest. So this is what I do, and I lead activism with 26,661 volunteers worldwide. That was a very strong movement. And now I'm honored to be the guest of Honorable Senator and the Pakistan Navy to be here to speak about the environment. I've been fighting a war for 43 years, a war that nobody heard a single gunshot. I fought this war, and I will continue until it is prevailed, basically. So, my organization, Ocean Quest Global, was formed in 2010, later in my commitment in environment, for reasons that I need an organization as a platform to distribute my knowledge to the world. Then, in the last part of this introduction, let's look into the topic I will be talking about, the coastal communities and their involvement in coral conservation, and where they sit in the stakeholders of the world. Can we progress the slide, please? So, approach. My organization have laboratories, have researchers, have scientists, have myself, have trainers and volunteers, and every single one of them, we are the only organization in the world that is 100% volunteer, including myself. Nobody in my organization earns a salary. That means every single one of us contribute by heart. That means with the 26,661 volunteers worldwide in about 34 countries, with 84 active locations, I'm basically leading a very big movement of active conservation. I'm not doing much awareness, I'm not doing much talks like this, but most of us is in the field. I'm actually in the wrong suit today because my suit is a wetsuit. I was in a wetsuit for 41 years. Yeah? Rarely that I have this kind of suit. It's kind of comfortable and warm. Normally it's cold, right? So, my organization thrives on physical model. Physical model means we create reefs. We create reefs for people to see and touch and feel and actually see what it means. We don't do mathematical model. We don't do colorful slideshows. All these slideshows are made by my IT department. I don't make it. So, by having physical model means we have to design, build, plan, strategic, and partner with a lot of people who will make it happen. One of them is the armed forces. In Thailand, we are very successful with high-profile projects in Thailand, the rehabilitation of reefs, the largest in the world ever attempt. And we successfully complete the 4-year project, and it was now reopened for the public. Why? Because the Navy is behind us. This is the message, that armed forces play a big role. In many places around the world, marine protected areas established politically, and political MPAs doesn't work. It doesn't work at all, because the enforcement is poor. There is no SOP, there's no protocol. The politician will say, hey, vote for me. I'll give you a section of the MPA to take care of so that you can collect money from anybody who's using it. Then that little guy who voted for him gets the MPA and he do his own rule. He writes his own protocol, whatever he likes, right? But there's no SOP, no protocol, no legislation even. And then for the next 5 years, when the politician lost his election, another politician comes, the role goes over and over. In marine protected area, the armed forces or the people in uniform are very important to keep the law and legislation that is written in the books, not by a person that is sitting on the beach deciding what to do because he is entitled to, right? So when I do the high-profile project in Maya Bay, I close a very popular touristic area that earns millions of dollars per month. And I request it to be closed. They think I'm crazy. It is an economic benefit for everyone. Of course, the tourism were against it. Everybody is against it. But the environment is completely dead. In the end, they get to close Maya Bay for 4 years for rehabilitation because the Navy helps it happen, makes it happen for me. And what happened after 4 years? Today is open. If you go to Maya Bay today, it's beautiful and pristine and full of life. The day it closed in May 2018, there is absolutely no life in that bay. Me and several officers from the national park were sitting on the beach. We don't even know where to start. It's so dead. But after 4 years of closure and rehabilitation and research, if you look at Maya Bay today, when I left on my last day, when I shook their hand and I said, take stewardship of this project, there are 107 sharks swimming in that bay. Beautiful. Out of 0 corals, 60% of that bay, which is about 4 hectares wide, is filled with living corals and colorful fishes again. And today, the tourism who are against me when we want to close that bay, what do they say? They say, thank you, because now, with less people, I get more money, because when the reopening, I designed the new tourism policy, how many people can enter the bay per day, what is the activity they can do and what they cannot do. There's a protocol, there's a guide that guides them into that bay. Now, they have to pay extra to get in, the entrance fee. And where do this extra goes? It goes to the agents. It goes to the tourism people. They get more money with less work now. And are they angry at me anymore? No. Everywhere I go, they will say thank you. So that is only one of 34 countries that I work. In some countries, there is even more drastic measures we need to take. We call it the countermeasure. Rescuing reef and countermeasure is another issue. In Southeast Asia, the biggest issue is the unregulated distribution of illegal blasting caps. And they use the blasting caps for bombing. They bomb the reef because it's the quickest way for fishing. Where do the blasting cap come from? We don't know, but it was sold in the illegal market everywhere. So what we do, most of these people, if you think logically, most of these people recruit them as their own children. They take their own children. They recruit their own children. Nobody in the right mind will let their children go with a fisherman who's bombed in the hands. So they have their own children as their recruit. So what we do, we target schools where the children go, and we capture them, we bring them and give them other activities so that they don't follow their fathers out to the sea. So that when their fathers retire, they have alternative income. They don't have to repeat what their fathers do. Because old dog, you cannot train them. You cannot tell them what to do. You cannot give them any instruction at all. Let them retire without replacement. Those are strategies, example of strategies. I can talk on this all day or even for 3 years, and I give you a degree on that. But we can talk about strategies, we can talk about conservation strategies, we can talk about policies, we can talk about who's the right stakeholder. In this case, the community, the local community, is the weakest link, the weakest stakeholder in the whole entire link of marine industry. They are the poorest, they are the weakest, they are the least educated people. My message here is that our role is to bring them up to a certain level that they realize the importance of the environment for them, and they realize the importance of sustainability. We can talk sustainability every day here among ourselves. It is a self-repeating thing. It becomes a thing of normal, but what happened? I think my time is almost over now. What happened? What happened next is that we have to take one step. First, the local government or provincial or federal government have to be committed in wanting to solve this problem. Second, for Pakistan, for example, I'm grateful for the Pakistan Navy and the MSA, the Marine Security Agency, who have provided me with a boat. I arrived day before yesterday at 6 o'clock. At 9 o'clock, I was in the reef. The corals you see in that picture is from Pakistan. It is not from Asia. And you have corals. You have these resources. And who can protect it if it's not you? Thank you very much.
So thank you very much for your very valuable input. What we find about you is that you are a man of action who has had a lifetime commitment with coral reef conservation, improving the environment, getting the local community involved, and above all, taking support from the armed forces and particularly the Navy to be able to project, promote, and further your desire, your actions for the betterment of the marine environment, to promote tourism, and to be able to contribute not only towards marine tourism, but as well as the maritime economy. Thank you very much for your very valuable views, and I am sure the audience would have a lot to inquire from you during the subsequent question and answer session.